You want to be a litigation lawyer, right? These are the soft skills that you need to. I mean, that's what I think a law school should be able to do. Should be able to develop. And that they were already saying to you, Matthew, if you want to be a lawyer, you need to improve your communication skills, both written and oral. Say this submission is crap.
That's not bad.
Maybe older lawyers didn't have access to soft skills training about how to manage their anger, right? So, I don't know, I feel sorry for both sides of the divide.
Yeah.
Not just the person who shouted at, that's just a 9 months shouting at. But the person who was shouting has anger issues, right? No?
I feel like when you deal with people enough, I think you will have a lot of problems.
I think we're under tremendous pressure to deliver for the clients. Let's say if I'm talking on behalf of, and it can be frustrating. And I've had feelings that when I feel that somebody who is feeling that they're entitled to a work-life balance, and then you ask yourself, okay, why is it that I now have to work twice as hard for you to have a work-life balance? And I think I will feel like that sometimes. But the only thing is that I just, although inside me I feel the frustration, or sometimes talking to somebody and say, yes, the evolution of human life has come to the stage where you got a privilege or entitlement to ask that. But from our perspective, when we're under pressure, that we have to run a law firm, we've got to make it work.
Had to pay salary.
I've had those moments where I'm shouting in my head. Right, when I'm frustrated with why is it that I have to sacrifice my time in order for somebody else to have a work-life balance.
I see.
But the only difference is I don't shout. I just shout at myself and say, what the hell, why am I
doing this?
I go for a walk. So the only difference is that if I didn't have the skill of cooling down, like if I didn't have the skill of walking and shouting in my head or trying to get that anger out, that why is it that some other people feel that they are entitled to work-life balance at your expense, right? So for example, if somebody gives you a draft that is half-baked and you have to put in time to try and make it better, so your response is inside you'll be thinking, oh yeah, and that person wants to take some time off. And I'm not going to be able to take some time off because I've got to fix this person's job, right?
Yeah.
But I don't shout at the person. But inside me, do you think I don't get frustrated? Of course I get frustrated.
Yeah.
So I think we need to have a conversation about how do we match those expectations.
Yeah.
It's not just, so I think a lot of it is frustration. Some is abuse, right? I think 80% is frustration. 20% is just that person needs to go to a mental hospital. But 80% of the time when they say, oh, this is bullying, I just think that it's just frustration coming out in the wrong way.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to defend my my peers, but I'm just saying that we need to have a better conversation about this.
Okay, when we talk about this, right, it's something just popped in my head. A lot of senior lawyers nowadays complain a lot about junior lawyers, right? I'm sure you know this. So now my question is this. Senior lawyers are saying that junior lawyers these days are not to that level. But then senior lawyers are refusing to, or they just reluctant to teach junior lawyers these days because all they do is screaming at each other. So how are you expecting that junior lawyers is going to be up to the level, you know? So, I mean, we are going to be replacing the senior lawyers one fine day, not today, but one fine day. So how are we supposed to, like, you know, to reach that level when all senior lawyers are doing is like just, I'm not saying all, I'm just some of them, as I've heard of, is just like undermining you all the time and not teaching you the right skills to be a better lawyer in the future, right?
I think every generation is going to speak this way. So I don't see. I think your generation
Yeah.
is going to say the same thing about the next generation. So I don't see it as very unique to our generations because we don't know the history. We don't know, like you're saying, oh, current senior lawyers are complaining about young lawyers.
Yeah.
But you're going to complain about your young lawyers. When you own the law firms, you're going to complain about it.
Did
I
anybody
look at
complain
it-
about your generation, like the ones before you?
Of course.
Really?
Of course. I think, you know, your parents will say, I used to get up this 5 o'clock in the morning and used to do this. And then what has happened is we got our lives marginally better, right? But our parents or our seniors will over, you got it better.
Yes.
And it's just that because we are more visible, we're able to see it. But I think you're going to complain about your young generation. So I see it as nothing new. It's like this has been happening since the
Every
beginning.
generation.
Yeah, beginning of time, since he
Yeah.
invented lawyering. Every generation is going to say the next generation is, you know, haven't done this. So I think so. I don't take that so seriously. I think it's going to be, you are going to complain. You're not going to when you own your law firm, you're not going to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this for you. Why do I say that? Because every generation of lawyers is 5 years. So I've seen 6. Okay. So the ones that I've spoken, I'm not going to be that senior lawyer like this person has turned out to be the same.
Oh,
so
God.
I'll be very cautious about people until you walk in the person's shoe, right? I think again, I would like to have a better conversation. I mean, new conversation about why is this generation complaining about young. I think it's normal. Your generation is going to complain about the next generation. And maybe the focus will be, hey, how can we both do something to make it better?
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So I'm not sure. I don't think we're complaining more, are we, about the younger generation compared to when we were younger.
Let me tell you what I've heard. I was told. Okay, so I was told by like when we are having a conversation. So other senior lawyers will say like, this generation's lawyers have it much easier. For example, in your time, you used to not have witness statements 14 days before the trial, right? Examination in chief is immediately happening during the trial. I think if it happens to me, I think I will be shitting in my pants right now. Another thing that's going on, bundle of authorities. You didn't have bundle of authorities exchanged at the time when it was your time. So when you go to court, your opponent will give you the authority that they are relying on immediately. And then immediately you have to look at it, and then immediately you have to rebut to that with your authority. So I think some senior lawyers think that this is why the previous generation is much better in terms of like more hardworking, because amount of research that you need to do is so much more than right now, because now we already have the bundle authorities before all that happening, right? And then now we have this wonderful tool called Control F. So we just go to the term that we want to. But what lawyers back then used to do is flipping the books one by one, page by page, flagging the cases that they want to use and don't want to use, like, you know, things that the cases that don't support them and potentially your opponent will use, but you don't know if they're going to use it because you don't have the bundle of authorities. So these are the things that is making our life easier now and was much more harder back then, and has made us more relaxed, complacent, if you will, things like that. So this is what senior lawyers told me.
So my take on this is that we are lucky then, right? I mean, in a sense that some part of our brains got massaged.
Yeah.
So that it's maybe useful for us, and when we need to stand up, because the training that we had to go through.
Yeah, it's immense, you know.
Yeah, so we are lucky. So we could say that we were lucky that we had to go through this. So we are grateful for that. Then to translate that to say that there's something wrong with the young generation because they skip this, I think, in my view, is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's not that something is wrong here. It's just that we are practicing in a much more, I wouldn't say relaxing. I just can't find the word. Like much less stress, like less immense. Like like it's so sudden. Like something suddenly is happening to you. You get what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
So I suppose that what I was going to say is, let's take legal research, right? It depends on people. I kind of think that I got three standards. One is standard legal research, above standard legal research, and extremely deep research. So if a lawyer is always expecting extremely deep research, then obviously he's going to be disappointed and frustrated. Okay, so there are some lawyers who is always on extremely deep research. We're very disappointed when a research is done at standard level or even above standard. Okay, so I suppose it's about expectations. Talking about legal research, obviously below standard, the person has got to be flagged up and say, well, would it be good for you to understand the foundational aspects of this area of the law before you go into control F, is it? Right? So that's like a bit of laziness here. It doesn't matter which generation it is, right? So if we're talking about numbers, did we in my generation have lazy lawyers? Yes. So the only reason why this is flagged up is because we are more visible. So did we have lawyers at our time, say pupils at our time, that did not do deep research? Yes. And the reason for it is they're not curious, they're not motivated, they don't want to
put in the
go
time
deeper. So that is so proportionally, because we have so many more young lawyers, it just gets flagged up more.
Yeah.
But during my time, are we able to say that, every pupil that was going to do deep research? No, there were pupils who couldn't be bothered. And because they knew from early on they're not going to practice, they're not going to do that. So it's just that those who want to practice and want to really do good will do the work that's required. Those who are not going to go in deep and spend time will find some other way
to get the job done.
To get the job done.
Right.
From an expectations point of view, I think it would be helpful for a young lawyer to say, hey, do you want a standard research, or do you want a deeper research, or do you want a deeper research? Standard research, I can do it today. More than standard research, I'll need to take 3 days. Deeper research, I need 2 weeks. What have you got? So I think it's nobody talks, and I'm trying to think that we have expectations which are not communicated. So like, for example, if a senior lawyer said, Celine, I really want you to go around the world to find the answer. So it's going to be deep research.
Yeah, different jurisdictions.
And I'm wondering, of course, we are so hierarchical. We do not teach people to say, oh yeah, dear sir, thank you very much for this exciting research. I just think that this research can't be done in about a day. Would I be able to get more time? I'll give you first draft on the first day, but it's not going to be excellent. But how many people can speak like that? Or have we been trained to speak like that? We just assume that we cannot have that conversation with a senior lawyer. Half the time, when we give something to junior, they just take it without even saying anything. Because they assume that the senior lawyer is going to jump on them if they ask. But that's not the case. That is not the case.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be faulted, or the senior lawyer shouldn't be faulted if all the time because the expectations match. So, for example, I think if I give something to someone and then they actually said, when do you need it? Then I say, I need it today. I think I need 3 days, but I'll do my best if it's just 1 day. Then I'll ask, why do you need 3 days? What's the methodology of your research that takes you 3 days? Because you have all the tools, I think you should be able to do it. Maybe you need some help, remedial help in how you approach it. But these kind of conversations don't take place because both are not learning how to match expectations. So not everybody has the same skills, right?
True, that's
right?
true, yeah.
So because of that, and the hierarchical nature of our profession, so person comes back which they think is good enough, the senior lawyer will look at it, this is totally rubbish.
Yeah.
And that creates a combustible position.
Like, yeah.
And some people will shout.
So, yeah.
Because they'll think, how are you so stupid to get this done this way, right? But that's their communication. And imagine if we had a soft skills training and say, how do we talk to people like that?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
I think you could have some combat training, like combat negotiating, combat training, combat. How do you deal with a person who shouts at you?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been shouted at. I think no. It's always very like positive criticisms for me, and I will just take it as that. Okay, I'll work on it. Okay, I got it. Okay, give me some time. Okay, bye. Okay, now let's go to the last part of this episode. Clients' expectations. I think this is critical, and definitely no law school will tell you how to deal with clients' emotions, clients' expectations on you. Or I was told by many senior lawyers, including several judges, do not trust your client. I also learned in personal ways several times. Document everything. Clients sometimes may say one thing, turn out another thing. Maybe some things are not true. Maybe some things they remember wrongly or things like that. So these are the things that I feel like is so crucial. You should learn this in law school.
So if you take a general population, there's a bell curve, and then because we generally, if the client can afford to pay you, you'll take on that work.
Yeah.
And later on in life, you'll find that you'll have the wisdom to say no. It takes a while, especially when you're young, you need the money. You will say yes. And because of your enthusiasm, right, you tend to want to believe the client.
Not really. I've learned not to. I will ask a few times, are you sure or not? If there is anything you want to disclose, you disclose now.
So I think that it's good to be a skeptical lawyer. I take the view that the client is only telling me half the story.
Yeah.
And it will be helpful for everybody to think that, because that will then lead to more inquiry. So every time that a client comes, I just assume they're telling me half the story. It makes it easier for us to plan so that we don't get
damage control.
Yeah. So when they say don't trust your client, I
not
suppose,
entirely. I mean, just,
but
just
what I suppose,
be cautious.
Yeah. That's good advice, and the emotions of the clients are difficult. I mean, right now,
definitely.
One of my pupils are dealing with a very difficult situation, right? I'm avoiding the client, and the pupil
This is what every senior lawyers do.
Yeah. So
it's like, okay, you deal with her, you deal with this.
Yeah, that's right. So that's all.
Okay, I'll deal with it. Okay, right? Like it's like a lot of.
There's a lot of learning from that too. I mean, dealing with difficult clients.
Yes, I think one thing that I've learned dealing with clients is just document everything, put it on email, even WhatsApp also can lah. Just put it somewhere in writing. You say, okay, this was done, this was this and that. You know, now they cannot come back and say like, oh no, I didn't know, that's not true, something like that. You know, like things like this can happen. You know, or when
These
you
things
lose a case.
like this can happen, will happen,
Yes.
and so in my own history, I've had repeated times where sometimes maybe I made a mistake of not recording it and paying the price for it,
Yeah.
and then you got no excuse because you're a senior lawyer and you think, well, I made a mistake, I didn't record this down.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree. I think that if you start very early on with very good record keeping
I wouldn't
about
say
your
I'm-
instructions,
I'm
I think
like-
that would be good.
Yeah. I try my best to record it down when I can.
No, but that's good
something-
advice. I
yeah.
even when I was a pupil, I was already told that.
Yeah.
And but along the way,
You want to trust your client, you know. So I feel like that sometimes.
yeah. So
yeah.
then I made a mistake. So
Yeah, I made a
and I
mistake
paid the price for it. So
yeah, correct.
better
That's true.
not do that.
Yeah. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed like this video. I hope it's helpful. I hope you know exactly what is expected actually to be like an actual lawyer. It's not just actually studying procedures, rules of court, and all that. So thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you, Celine. For having me.
I had a wonderful conversation with you. I hope you too.
Thank you. Yeah, it
Right,
was
right.
exciting.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you then. Bye.
Bye bye.